Hey guys, Deadpool 2323 here, doing another comic book haul. I just want to, before I start get into the haul, I want to give a shout out to Lightning 2288. He's who really, I started watching his stuff and his knowledge on DC. Like, I know nothing about DC, so I'm learning a lot about the DC, especially the Silver Age stuff from him. Still not really collecting the DC stuff, but it's good to know if I come across it for cheap, as he would say. Then I'll definitely pick it up. I don't like to do a lot of eBay. The hunt to me is 50% of why I love to collect comic books. It doesn't matter if it's something new like this Deadpool's Secret Wars #1. Or if it's, something old. When you find it and it's something you want, that's awesome. Whether it's you find it in the case at a store or you find it on the wall at a store or obviously the best way to find something is by hunting through boxes, So anyways, Lightning 2288, you got a big fan here in Florida, and thanks for doing what you do there. So let's get in the haul. This haul consists of a couple stores, a couple flea markets, and my first ever Craigslist haul, which I'm really happy, ecstatic about this haul. So finding comic books for next to nothing almost never happens, but your definition of affordable or cheap is all within your budget and what you see the market doing. So always just remember that. For me, I'm starting out with this book because it's pretty significant find for me, actually. I've been looking for the Deadpool's Secret Wars for a while, and I didn't want to pay $10 a book for them. And there's this comic book store near where I live, and they don't have anything old, man. If you're going looking for, if you don't collect the current stuff, you wouldn't want to go to this store. But I happened to go in there one day, and just because I happened to be passing it, so I stopped in and I just went through, and I'd gone through all their Deadpool stuff already and bought everything I needed, and went through it again to see if anything new was in there, and there wasn't. So I just started going through their other stuff. I know there's like, they had a lot of the Marvel Now stuff, and I know like the Miss Marvel stuff's pretty expensive. Everything they have in this is pretty much cover price. And with the Deadpool movie, everything Deadpool is so hot right now. Finding Deadpool comics for under $10 a book can be pretty hard to do. You can find them for $5, especially that what they call Volume 2, but his first ongoing run. That series is super expensive. But I found all of these books here for 20% off cover price. So $4 a piece. And I don't think you can really beat that. So these were a little less than $4 because these are $4 cover price. But Secret Wars 2, 1, 2, and 4. And all the covers are cool, but I'm kind of a Ron Burgundy fan, and this guy, he looks like Ron Burgundy. In fact, that may have been what they were going for there. I honestly don't know, but I just think they're fantastic. Happy to have them. Again, I don't think you can beat the price on them. This next book, I went to this little shop, and these next 3 books come out of that. I actually got 6 books for $20. A couple of them were like Infinity Gauntlet tie-in stuff with the Silver Surfer, which in Doctor Strange, which is kind of hard to find. Doctor Strange and Silver Surfer, you'd think they'd be more mainstream, but they're really, for where I go, it doesn't seem to be that. You don't find big runs. Walk in any comic book store and you'll find huge sections of X-Men, probably huge sections of Avengers, huge sections of Fantastic Four. And I'm not even talking DC. I'm only talking Marvel, obviously. But when you're talking Silver Surfer and Doctor Strange, iconic characters in the Marvel universe, you don't really see a lot of deep runs of that stuff in comic book shops. This guy had it, and I picked up a few books pretty cheap. I'm not going to show those. I'm going to show the better books I picked up for him. And Excalibur number 125. There weren't many key issues in Excalibur, let's be honest. You could probably pick up 99% of the run in the dollar boxes. This one, I was at MegaCon, and I saw it twice at MegaCon. They had $30 a piece on it. Like I said, I picked up six books for $20. So you do the math on that. That was including that. And obviously, he had a $4.95 price tag on it. He tallied it to about $4 or something. But I was super happy. It's the last issue in the run. It's the wedding of Captain Britain and Meghan, and it was the last issue I needed to complete my set. So my Excalibur set is complete. I'm super stoked about that. I probably, when I was a kid, read about the first 30 or 40 or so of Excalibur, and it was just an awesome storyline. I really liked the storyline as it went. So the next book I picked up at this place, and this place too, I didn't even know this place had comic books. This place was a little shack on the side of the road that was a bookstore. The place doesn't have air conditioning, so figure that out. It's June and it's in Florida, and someone told me they had books there, so I went in there and looked, and sure as heck, they had a whole lot of comic books in there. So anyway, so I go to this little shop, and really their books weren't in great condition. I picked this up in that group. There weren't a whole lot of keys to the original Ghost Rider series, but this was the last issue in the series, and I thought it was kind of a minor key. It's one of the Spirit of Vengeance Lees, Johnny Blaze. I thought it had just some spine wear, but when I got it home, I don't know if you can see right there, that's actually a tear. I was really bummed about that. I really didn't. I thought it was just some spine issues. That was it. But other than that, I mean, the cover really presents well. I really like the cover too. I think it's pretty good. And then the last one I got at that shop, and again, I paid about $4 a piece for these books. It's Marvel Chillers number 1. It's in VG condition. It's not a good condition. You can see there's some bad stuff there, and you can see some bad. Those are just creases. There's not tears, but it still doesn't not in the best condition. But I've not seen this a lot. And then after I bought it, I seen it twice for about $20 a piece. But the thing about this is, if you read if you're trying to get ahead of some trends, the Darkhold is in the Marvel universe is a book that brings this character called Cthon. He's a really evil, godlike creature. And in the current Carnage series, which Carnage is a hot character right now, he's trying to bring Cthon out. And because of that, he got some power from Cthon. He's infected a few characters, and it could go somewhere, it could go nowhere. But, first appearance of Cthon, and he's been in a lot of Marvel storylines, and I just kind of felt like that was a book that for $4 I'm going to pick it up. I also, like I said, I like number 1 issues, so if I can pick up a cool number 1 for cheap, I'm going to do it. The next book, Deadpool versus Thanos, number 2. Again, me, obviously, I love Deadpool. I don't have any of this series, other than number 2 now. So there's this indoor flea market, Dragon Flea Market, and I go in there all the time. There's only one comic book guy in there. And I normally buy some stuff from him. I like to look through his old stuff especially. Well, there had been it had rained real hard and the roof got a leak or something, and so he had to take a lot of the books out of there. So I only went through a few of the stuff. He never has like real new stuff. It's normally like 90s, maybe some early 2000s stuff, and then some older stuff. And he normally has some a lot of silver and bronze age stuff. Never really any expensive keys, but some good filler stuff or just some cool stuff to have. Well, I found this in his stuff and I couldn't believe it. He actually had 2 copies of it. And so it was the only book I wanted to buy. And so when I went to ask him how much he wanted for it, he said, for you can have it. And he just gave it to me. I mean, I've only been a customer of his for a little while. He felt bad because he knows I like to go through the old stuff, and he didn't have it there. But, man, awesome. I mean, I've never had a dealer just give me a book you could easily sell. So, yeah, can't beat that. And then there's another flea market. I go to the USA Flea Market, and there's this guy there I really don't like. I'll shop in his store, but, man, check this out. I caught the guy. There's 2 comic book guys in this flea market, USA Flea Market. I caught the guy having a 10-year-old kid, about 10 years old. I mean, I don't know exactly his age, but he was about 10 years old, going to the other comic book guy, and that guy sells toys too. And he was asking him like for deals on toys and stuff, the kid was, and he'd take pictures, and he was saying it was for his cousin. I was in that shop looking through books when he was asking the dealer. And then after I left his shop, I went back, and then the little kid's like showing the guy at Man Cave Comics pictures on the phone, like, hey, he wants $15 for this, but I think I can get him down to 10. So then the kid goes down, and the guy's like, all right, man. He's like, man, I only have a $10 bill. He's like, all right, man, I'll sell it to you for $10. Because he's trying to give the little kid a break, because he's a little kid whose mother works at another store, shop in the flea market. And the kid goes back and then sells it to that guy for $10 store credit because that guy has video games. So that guy's not even paying $10 for it. He's paying like probably $6 or $5, whatever he paid for the video game. I mean, we're just a scumbag move to use a kid that way. I told the guy about it, and the guy told the kid he can't come in there anymore. And that's just, man, when it comes to that kind of stuff, it really bothers me. So I traditionally don't shop in there, but I was with a buddy. He was looking for some toys, so we went in there because that guy has toys too. And sitting right on the front of his $2 books was giant-size Wolverine Old Man Logan #1. $2. You can't touch this book for under $10 on eBay, period, if you can find it. And I haven't seen this book unless it was in the complete set of the Old Man Logan stuff, which then you're paying well over $100 for all that. So for $2, I may not like the guy, but I'll take a book from him for $2 if it's cheap. So, but the guy I do like, who always cuts me good deals in there, I've said before, I'm just a big Marvel fan. I really don't do anything other than Marvel. But man, you can't beat Todd McFarlane art. Spawn #1, it's a $10 or $15 book. In fact, I think the price tag he had on the back there was $15. And I really wanted it. I grouped 2 books together. When I was collecting comics as a kid, Spawn had just started, and it was like the hottest thing out there, man. And, man, I couldn't have afforded this back then. I mean, this book used to be pretty pricey. But, for $10, it's not a bad buy, I don't think. It's just something to go in my #1s, a #1 to have. But, again, I think the artwork's fantastic. But the book that got me all excited, he has a lot of old Silver Age books. And that right there, my friend, Strange Tales, #159. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It's the first Jim Steranko artwork on Captain America. And it's also the first appearance of Contessa. She's also known as Valentina Allegra. De La Fontaine, I think, is what the end is there. But, I mean, this book is not in great condition. It's creased there, and that's just a little tear there, a little tear in the back. Some spine wear. But, the colors are great. I paid $30 for it. I don't think I got a great deal on the book, but man, I fell in love with it. I've never seen this book in the wild in this good a condition. I've seen it, but in much worse condition. I'll let you guys grade it. I don't really do grades. But man, I was just super stoked to get that book. Jim Steranko you can't beat a good Jim Steranko cover. And his work on, he's to Captain America what Frank Miller is to Daredevil. So, the Inhuman stuff's pretty hot right now. I started reading a lot of it. I really like it. There's the store I go to. I'm going to throw a little shout out to him real quick. If you're in the Tampa Bay area and you want to look for comics, go just a little bit north to Newport Richie, to the Gulfview Square Mall, and go to Yancy Street Comics. There's also a Yancy Street Comics south, across from the Oldsmar Flea Market. Chad owns the south store, and this guy, there's Steve and Chris own the store in the Gulfview Mall. They always hook me up with books. The deals that he's given me is unbelievable. This is Amazing Adventures #2. It's the story of the Inhumans and the Black Widow. Man, and just look at him. I mean, it's in pretty good shape. I'd say this book's at least a 6.0. The spine's pretty good. I mean, it might be. A little rounding on the corner, but I'd say a little crease or something there, and a little crease or something there. The book's in great condition. $10, and the Inhuman stuff's hot. There's talk of a movie. They're in the Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and for $10 you can't beat that. I mean, online all those books are going for about $10 a piece. So this one I was real excited to get from them. I eventually want to upgrade this. This is Amazing Spider-Man 298. This is like the cameo first appearance of Venom, but it's also, more importantly, McFarlane's first work on Spider-Man. And that's what makes this book such a key issue. This is a major key, in my opinion. Steranko to Captain America, Frank Miller to Daredevil, McFarlane to Spider-Man. There's certain guys that really, their names and their characters go hand in hand. It's not in good condition at all. I'd put it as a very good copy. You can see the corners pretty bad, and it's kind of dirty for a white books are hard to get. But man, I only paid $15 for that book. I wasn't going to complain about that price. And I just kind of feel like, with all the publicity Spider-Man's getting, being in Civil War, he was very successful. Now he's going to be in, his own movie. It's only a matter of time before Venom and Carnage start getting movies. And I think they'll be successful. So, man, if you can pick up certain keys like that, I wasn't going to leave that book there for $15. I could go on eBay, and I have gone on eBay. Actually, a friend of mine's a big Spider-Man and McFarlane fan, and for his birthday, I bought him a graded copy. I don't remember the grade. It was over a 9, 9.2, 9.6, 9.4, somewhere in there. And I paid a pretty penny for that. But, that this book is nowhere near what that book is, but hell, man, I'm just happy to have it. And the last book I got from Yancy Street, man, I'm so excited about this book. One of my all-time favorite covers. I'm not a huge Silver Surfer fan. I'm not a huge Hulk fan. Like I've said before, I'm a huge X-Men fan. But when it comes to covers, this has got to be in the top 5 favorite covers I've ever seen. And it's a great storyline. I've heard. I haven't read it yet. I will read it soon. This copy's not in the best condition. But man, you can't touch this book for under $40 online that has a presentable cover. And this cover, the colors are beautiful. The spine's got some wear. There's a big crease right there, and there's a little crease on the corner. And there may be a little bit of a spine roll because it looks like it's a little off right here, but a little tiny crease right there. But man, this book I'm probably gonna frame this book and put it up on my wall just because I just love this cover. He gave it to me for $25. You can't beat that price. And I'm telling you, if you go in there, whether you're a regular or not, if you buy some books, he will hook you up. He always does. And even if he's not there, the girls that work there, they're fantastic, and Chris is fantastic too. They're all really good people. And they've got comics, they've got merchandise, they've got toys. It's one of the biggest comic book stores I've ever been in. And they're just very classy guys. Man, we're already 20 minutes in, and I'm not even halfway through my haul yet. I got to get going on these books. So that's from Yancy Street. All right, so this is my Craigslist haul. So I'm going to go through it. So this Craigslist haul, I have invested into $350. Now, I did not pay this guy $350. I had some merchandise he wanted. He had some merchandise I wanted. So we did kind of a trade for $350. Basically, is what I have. X-Force number 2. It's a very key issue. Second appearance of Deadpool. First appearance of that guy Kane, who's kind of a lesser. But that book's used to be able to find them in the dollar bin. Now they're going for about $2. I picked up Venom Lethal Protector number 1. He had the gold variant, but he wouldn't come off that. He felt like that book was worth $1 million, and it just wasn't. Like I said, man, I didn't have this book. I used to have it years ago. I wanted it again, and he threw it in with the haul. And in fact, he didn't just throw one in; he threw 2 in with the haul. And like I said, man, just certain books I think are going to go up in price if they do a movie. It's just a little prospect. Didn't cost me any money. I just really wanted to pick these books up because I believe Venom's going to end up with his own movie, and when that happens, I think some of these books will go up. Amazing Spider-Man Supersized Annual number 22. Not in the greatest condition. It's first appearance of Speedball. Speedball was one of the new Warriors, and he was a lesser superhero. I think his name's Penance now. He was the only survivor of the New Warriors when they were killed in Civil War. So, but again, just a nice little find I had thrown in there. So I've said before I don't do DC, but Lightning 2288 always says if you come across Silver Age DC for cheap, you pick it up. And he threw this in, and it's not in good shape, but I just thought it was a cool cover, man. Anytime I can see a DC superhero crying, I'm pretty happy. No, I'm just kidding. But really, it's it's in bad shape. But he threw it in. It didn't cost me anything more. It was, we had already kind of decided, and then he pulled out all this DC stuff. So I just kind of went through, and that was the only old book in there. And I took it. And I took some other newer stuff for some friends of mine, but that was the only old book that was in there. So that's kind of the minor stuff that was in that Craigslist haul. Another book that's kind of minor, Uncanny XMen number 282. It's first appearance of Bishop. Comic shops normally have this for about $20. You can normally buy it for $10 anywhere, but you could sell it for $10 too. And I already have this. It's not something I needed, but the fact that he gave me not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 copies. Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, that's, if you were to sell them, even at $5, that's $20 cash right there, So you normally don't have trouble getting rid of that. And I got some friends that will probably want that, and I'll probably just trade that for some other minor keys I want. I was really happy to find this. This is a much nicer copy than the one I already had. X-Men number 4. It's the first appearance of Omega Red. Pretty significant Wolverine villain. And honestly, in the X-Men run, there's not a whole lot of keys in that run. in the early part especially, probably run you $8 to $10, and it's not easy to find. It's really not. Here's a comic book I threw in mainly because I just never heard of it, never saw it, and it's a Marvel UK. I don't know if you can see that. Marvel UK, Comics UK. Never had a Marvel Comics UK. It's the first appearance of Wild Thing. I literally threw it in there for only one reason. I thought the cover was really cool with Venom and Carnage on it. It's a number 1. It's not worth anything. I've never heard of the character. But, you know, you never know. You know. So that's kind of getting into the more major stuff here now. So this comic is one of my all-time favorite covers. Uncanny XMen number 268. Man, nothing major in this book other than the cover. It's a good storyline. I remember reading it years ago. It's just a good storyline, and it sells well. I mean, I have a copy of this book. This book's a little bit better condition, so I'll probably keep this one and get rid of the other one. But you can get $15-20 for this book normally on eBay all day. Amazing SpiderMan number 362. It's the second appearance of Carnage. Just a cool book to have. I found this book in a dollar bin a year ago, and I gave it to my son because he's a big Spider-Man fan. But as I started collecting keys, I was on the lookout for it. And, you know, this is a $10, $15 book. And another $5 to $10 book is 363, the third appearance of Carnage. And I actually love that cover. I don't know why. It's just 3 heads, but something about that cover. And if you're going to have 362 and 363, you got to have 361, which is the first appearance of Carnage. Now, that's a major key in the Spider-Man world. I mean, it's not a major key price-wise. At MegaCon, this book was anywhere from $80 to $100. I found it a few places. You could get it for around $40. I actually found it in one place for $20, but it had 3 little tears on the bottom. It was pathetic. But, you know, traditionally, I'm going to say it's a $50. In good condition, it's a $50 book. But the cool part about that was he had more copies. So getting 2 copies of that book, you know, that's pretty significant. Especially when I can get a 3rd copy. 3 copies of that book. So I'm going to give one of them to my son. I'm going to keep one, and I'm going to sell one. A buddy of mine really wants it. And as I'm going through, I'm really thinking that this book right here, I thought was just a major. I already had this book, but my God, this book is beautiful. There's one little something right there. I don't know what it is. And that might just be in the artwork, actually. I can't tell, but I took this to the store and I asked them, and he said, one little thing right there. He says he thinks this would grade over a 9.2 to 9.6, somewhere in there. First appearance of Gambit. I was stoked that he threw this book in. I don't know that this guy could have definitely made a lot more money selling his stuff on eBay. But these guys, when they showed up, we met in public place. They were in a little Mazda. They didn't strike me as the eBay savvy sellers. They were talking about eBay prices that, buy now prices. I said, yeah, but what are stuff selling for? The guy thought he could get $250 for that gold variant Venom #1 lethal protector. And I showed him where you could buy it now for $60. And man, he just thought that thing was worth a lot more, and he wouldn't come off it. But I was okay because I didn't want that as much as this last book here. is a major book in my collection. It's probably one of my top books now. I'm absolutely. I didn't think I'd have this book for a very long time. I wasn't actively seeking this book, but when I was able to make this trade and get all these books, I was super happy to get that. Amazing Spider-Man number 300, the first appearance of Venom. You know, you see the price tags on this, $300. Realistically, you know, if I wanted to sell it, I'm thinking anywhere from $200 to $250. But man, it's just a beautiful copy. It's definitely a 9.0 or better. There's a couple little, you know, creases, and that's going to affect the grading, obviously. But the rest of the book it just presents well. It's beautiful. I absolutely love the book. I'm super stoked to add this book to my collection. I don't have another copy of this book. This is my first copy. If I ever get another copy, I'd probably have to give it to my son. Like I said, he's a big Spider-Man fan, and he's 12. So if I came across that, I'd probably throw it in his collection. Yeah, so that's my entire collection. Appreciate you checking out. Sorry the video went a little over half an hour, but I'll try to do my next video a little shorter. So have a good day, and happy hunting.